Hey folks, it's been a few weeks since we did this. It's definitely past due for another episode of Doug Reacts, where I want to take a look at some of the comments that we have here on the channel. I love your comments, and I love the community. I love the interaction. So I do like to take some time out to pay some special attention to some noteworthy comments. Couple messages that came through, and this is with reference to the June 6th Wordle episode, where I started with the word brief, and it didn't really yield anything. Obviously, it didn't yield any information. When I have a first guess and it yields nothing, my first inclination is to look down at the unused letterboard and try and find and visualize 5 really quality letters, distinct letters, to look for a second guess, a full evaluation. On this particular day, the letters from brief took away, some of the really popular letters I would use for a second guess, like R, I, and E. I looked down. I noticed right away that A, O, and U were open vowels. I looked at O and U, and I thought about words with O and U, and then I saw Scout just came to my mind because I could see those letters kind of grouped together on the virtual keyboard, and I said, well, okay, that seems like a good second guess. Put it in, and nonetheless, that was actually the answer to the puzzle that day. I promise you, just as shocked as you were. You could tell in my expression. An English Village for Robert III, I do love that screen name, by the way, wrote, that was just 1 in 3,200 chances in there, according to Wordle, which is a really cool app that helps you kind of figure out statistics and chances of things, so on and so forth. That should be a clip. Oh, it's absolutely a clip. Here, watch this. That's all right. It's all good. We'll go ahead and do a second guess here. Let's see. What do we retreat to? Oh, how about the word scout? That's 5 unique letters, 5 really good ones. So we'll give that a spin. Is the answer to the puzzle, Scout? Oh, are you kidding me? Holy crap! Oh my God! Wow! Oh! Yeah, heck of a moment, right? Are you kidding me? That's right. And also, Contact Matthew Tam writes, according to Wordle, that was, again, a 1 in 3,200 guess. Other people pointed out that I was so shocked I failed to do my trademark. Yes, it is. Again, I was floored by that one, but that's what I love about the show. We do play these like legitimately organic. I have no advanced knowledge, and so you get a truly organic reaction. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad, sometimes they're crazy. This was a crazy one. I jokingly, well, maybe half jokingly, suggest, particularly on the weekends, that I expect people to say the "yes, it is" catchphrase along with me, assuming I solve the puzzle, of course. Dayton Lights, Peter Wine, writes, well done. I usually say it along with you, but I'm alone at my desk, so it's no big deal. Good thing I don't watch while shopping. Well, there you go. I'm still looking for my first report of someone doing the catchphrase in a public setting. Very, very good friend of the channel. Excellent member of our community. Melanie Lee also indicates, well, sometimes I say the catchphrases, but not always, which is totally fine, Melanie. I just think it's the coolest thing, the idea for me that there are people out there in various settings saying it along. I just find that great. And I'm still looking for the first person to come forward with some sort of maybe documentation of them doing the catchphrase. I would be completely jazzed by that. Not jazzy, just jazzed. And that's a great segue, by the way, to our next email, or comment, I should say, pointing out that sometimes the editors of the New York Times, I guess Tracy Bennett, of course, being the named editor of the New York Times Daily Wordle, there are changes in the words for Wordle. So let me explain what that means. from what we see, the New York Times fills in a set of words that are expected to be the solves. It's usually, a week or two in advance, and they're programmed in. So if you wanted to take a preview, or if you felt the need or inclination to play, the Wordle from a few days out for some reason, you can actually change your system date on your computer and do that. And usually you can go even a few weeks before there's nothing to show you. Anyhow, the word jazzy was supposed to be originally the May 31 answer. And that's done. Content creators know this because most of us do tape these in advance so that we don't have to be up at midnight each night, recording content. And it was replaced by the word agile. And then the following day's puzzle, June 1st, ended up being jazzy. So there's a little switcheroo, kind of very close to May 31st. It trips up some, ourselves included. There have been a few cases where what we produced and placed on YouTube was incorrect, and we had to scramble shortly after midnight to pull the video down and re-record it. So it is interesting to note. I will say one interesting additional note. When we were recording the episodes for the first set of days of June, of course, when you're watching this, at this point it's no longer a spoiler. The June 7th solution was the word hater, which kind of threw me for a loop when I recorded it originally. I really couldn't believe that hater was a word that would be not changed, because I saw a lot of words that I thought were frankly not quite as perhaps abrasive or negative in tone that got switched out. So when we recorded that episode, my producer, Cassandra Hammerstone, and myself, we were talking about this thinking, boy, we're going to need to be ready at midnight on June 7th to scramble and re-record this one, because I have a hard time believing they're not going to swap it out. But sure enough, we were there at midnight. I had some coffee. I was ready to go, if necessary, to do a Wordle in my jammies. And sure enough, it was, in fact, the live puzzle hater, so we didn't have to change it. But it was kind of interesting to see. Making daily Wordle content is interesting behind the scenes. At some point, maybe I might consider doing like a little mini documentary on how this process works. But there's a lot more to it than meets the eye, and that's one of the aspects of it, is when you're recording these and you're thinking, boy, I have a hard time believing they're not going to swap this one out, and you kind of have to sweat that. But it's a lot of fun. Wouldn't change it for anything, but just interesting, noteworthy situation. Finally, let's take another look at a comment. Duty bound. I just picked this comment because duty bound is kind of funny. I like how Doug has slowly started to play hard mode without trying to play hard mode. Haha. Yes and no. If I can call you Duty, or perhaps Mr. or Ms. Bound. I don't know. Don't want to make any mistakes. So we'll just call you Duty. So howdy, Duty. That's first I'd like to say that. And secondly, yeah, here's the thing. I do read all the comments, folks. I do read them. I don't necessarily have time to respond personally to everything, but I have noticed in the recent set of weeks, months, that folks have been increasingly interested in seeing me kind of up the difficulty a little bit. Some people wanted me to play hard mode rules every day. Some people were just kind of lamenting that maybe some of these were a little too easy because of my liberal use of evaluation words. All reasonable. You can't do all things for all people. There are a lot of different ways to play Wordle, and I think that's what makes this such a beautiful and timeless game. But the message was sent, and I tried my best to see if we could make things a little more interesting. So I do, on most cases, try to defer to leaning a little bit less on the full 5-letter word evaluations in certain spots, and trying to work within what I have. And of course, as regular viewers know, we instituted what we call Fearless Friday on Fridays, where not only do I intentionally set the game on hard mode, but we will recycle or reuse a very difficult starting word from the past, either from a suggestion or perhaps from our Hard Starting Word Challenge series of programs that we produced last year. And if you haven't seen those, here's a quick plug. Check out the playlist on Doug Man's Land for the Hard Starting Word Challenge series. There's dozens of episodes. They're all meant to be like really hard, and they're a lot of fun. So if you haven't binged those, I don't know what you're waiting for. So there you go. And that concludes another episode of Doug Reacts. I love your comments. Please, let's keep them coming. Let's keep that great, fun community thriving. And you never know, you may be the next featured commenter on an episode of Doug Reacts.